Good morning, folks. I guess I will present with you what I have planned for today, and hopefully, we can be good. So, first of all, good morning, and I hope you all had a good day so far. It's your first class of the day. So, for a sync session today, I just want to update some expectation and wrap up the first part of 1.3. So, as I said, this is an actual classroom. I expect you guys to be active, honorable, and mature. What do I mean by active? Please participate. If you guys could, I know the school doesn't require it. I know I'm not going to force you to. But it is really weird for me to teach, and when I ask for responses, I had to beg and plead. It is a junior year of high school. Most of you will be graduating and going out in real life in less than 2 years. So in real class, you wouldn't have the option to hide your face anyway or not show your cam. I don't care if your hair look messy or whatever. I'm just gonna, show you. I don't really care. I'm moving my head around. It's no big deal. No one's here to judge how you look. So if you could turn on your cam when I'm asking you to participate. When I'm doing the lecture on the slide, you don't have to. But at least I know you're doing something and participating, or at least you're there. Because nothing is worse than teaching and seeing someone just having an icon. I mean, I don't need to see SpongeBob or Uchiha, Sasuke, or Naruto or something else like that. So just please be with that. And if I ask you to do something, I should not have to beg about please. Okay, that's not my job. I am teaching young adult, so please do that. It is really weird when I speak to you guy and I have to beg and plead. It's like talking to your dog and he turns away from you. That's not cool, right? Or talking to people and they don't look at you. So I mean, if I have a puppy and he's a few months old and I talk to him, hopefully he will even look at me. So please be active. For today is observation. A lot of people hear science and they're like, oh, I don't like science. So we're like, oh, it's not my thing. Okay? Science is life. I'm being honest with you. There's a reason why I choose to teach science instead of social study or art or photography. The word observation simply means awareness. One of the most famous character in literature related to his ability to be aware of things is Sherlock Holmes. He's a great detective in the sense that he picks up every detail. His detail is very, very accurate, which means it's close to the truth. It's not an estimate, but he wants to be as accurate as possible and as detailed as possible. Let me give you a real example of a real life story. Some of you will have a history class, American history, or other classes, and you will learn about an incident during the Vietnam War that's not very good for us as American. And I'm Vietnamese, by the way, so this did happen in my country.
Me too.
It's called the My Lai incident. How many of you have ever heard of the My Lai incident?
Not me.
I don't think I have. Oh, by the way,
Yeah.
on the hub it says that the sync meet is at 2:30 for this class for some reason. Was that on purpose?
No, I think that thing is just messed up. That's technology issue. Just follow our bell schedule, 9:30 every single
okay.
time. Okay. Yeah, there's still a lot of tech issue that they're playing with right now. But thank you for asking, Julie.
Yep.
Okay. So the My Lai incident happened back in the late 60s, early 70s, when a young officer of the American Army was in charge of a platoon, went into a village to search for communist insurgent that was hiding in there. Okay, his lack of awareness and observation skill, and just I had to say borderline egotistical, partially racist behavior led him to a village that was not the right one. The picture on the left right here was taken by a Time photographer. This was on the cover of Time magazine. Several minutes before pretty much all of these people were killed. Let me note that. All of these people.
Damn.
By the end of the incident, over 340 people were recorded by the U.S. military to be executed, a massacre. It's called a My Lai massacre. And unofficially, it was closer to 500 because some of the body was in the field as they were running away. Some of them were little kids, and so on. If you paid careful observation, some of the soldiers were very good. They told the commanding officer, this is not the right place. These people do not look like enemy soldiers. The reporter, who actually later was interviewed as a photographer, noted this part right here where this young lady and her brother, she's covering up her shirt. And this teenage girl right here is hiding behind her mom, along with this girl. If you have to understand psychology, these people will not only kill later, some of them were sexually assaulted. Okay? This gentleman on the right, keyword gentleman, is a higher ranking officer who is flying over on a helicopter about several minutes later and called down, you guys are in the wrong location. And what you're doing is not correct. It is an act of crime. And the people continue misbehaving until he ordered the people on his helicopter to open fire on any U.S. troop that will continue to shoot people without stopping. So he gave them another warning, and they finally stopped when he took action and say, you guys need to stop. If not, we're going to open fire on you because you're committing crime, a war of crime. So that's what I mean by observation skill, awareness. How are you in the wrong village, and how could you see this little kid as possibly enemy soldier? So something to think about. And you will never sexually assault an enemy soldier because that's never right no matter what. Not to mention innocent young people. Okay? So that's what I mean by observation skill. So here's a video on TED Talk. I downloaded it. Hopefully it'll play. So just watch about 2 minutes with me. And you will see one of the best author of all time is actually a science person. You don't have to be a science person and not be able to write, create poem, and so on. So here's Dr. Abraham, who is a doctor from Stanford. He teaches there, talking about observation skill for a little bit on how a good doctor can be a better human being by observation skill. Hopefully you guys can hear my video. One type of observation we can make. One is called qualitative. As you guys can see, the word qualitative is related to the word quality. The quality of something is usually described in word. That man is a kind man. That young lady is a compassionate person. That young man right there is not a good person because he steals from his own family. Quality of word description. Okay? That bottle is red. That rock is hard. All words. Quantitative from the quantity. How much money do you have? I have $11. How tall are you? I'm 5'4". Okay? Quantitative is quantity, is usually number based, and is usually measured with a tool. So in a little bit, I'm going to ask you guys to practice some qualitative and quantitative, just like in our notes. But last, before I move on, is the word hypothesis. This is the end of our review of the notes. A hypothesis is simply a very good prediction. If I were to predict that Julie is going to win an Academy Award for Best Actress in 10 years, that's not a hypothesis. It is not an educated guess. It is just a random guess. Okay? But if I were to predict that Julie will probably graduate high school in a couple of years, that's most likely because most Bloomington students are very successful at graduation. I am basing that on years of record. Okay? So educated guess is a guess based on some kind of background or key observation. If I were to go fishing today, I will guess that I will catch at least 1 or 2 fish because for my last 15 fishing trip, I've been able to catch at least 2 or 3. That's a hypothesis. Most important thing today, please remember this. Whenever you read any measurement tool, you read to the number that you can see clearly, and then you always estimate 1 more digit. If it's right on the line, you estimate it to be 0. So if it's 15 right on the line, you don't say 15, you say 15.0. If it's above 15 by a little bit, you might say 15.1 or 15.2. Last but not least, a unit is needed with any measurement that we do. People don't think unit matters. I am sorry, that is a load of nonsense. If you don't think it matters, give me 100 US dollar, that's the unit, and I'll give you back 100 peso. See my point? The unit matters. If you build someone's house and they ask for a room to be 6 meters across, that's about 18 feet, and you build it to be 6 feet across, 6 feet across is just a couple inch longer than my arm length. No one wants to be in the room like that for long term, okay? So unit makes a big difference. So with that, I want to note again, please make careful observation. By being aware of things, you will enrich your life. You will see more opportunity. You will see things about people in your family you might be concerned about, or to give compliment when something is deserved. So with that, can you guys please type in the chat, what is the reading for the volume you see right here? Please, everyone, take a second or two, look at that very carefully. And in about 20 seconds, I would like you to write down a measurement in the chat. No one should take more than 20 seconds to read any scale or graduate cylinder. So please type in the chat. That's me recording your participation because your name is with it.
I guess 26.
Okay, go ahead and type that in the chat for me because I'm not. You guys can still see that picture, right? Remember what I said, you read to what you know, and then you estimate one more digit. So I see some of you are doing it very correctly. Some of you are just going with habit. And remember, there's good habit and there's bad habit. We need to determine which one is good and keep, and which one is bad, and we modify it so we can become better. Please think of me as your coach. I am not here to judge. I'm here to give feedback so you can become better than me in the long term. So it's been about 30 seconds. I know that this is 20, this is 30, there's 10 lines in between. That means each one of them is 1, correct? So 21, 22, 23, 24, 25 is in the middle. Sorry. This is less than 26 because when you read a graduate cylinder, you watch the video I uploaded in a note, you read the middle of the curve. So as you guys can see, the middle of the curve is slightly below 26 and is more than half above 25. So reading like 25.6, 25.7, 25.8, 25.9, those are reasonable. But that looks more like it's more than 2/3 across, so I would personally read this as 25.7 or 25.8. Does that make sense? Please give me a verbal response. Does that make sense? I read for no, I know for sure it's between 25 and 26, right? And then I estimate it, I guess my last one.
Thank you so much.
Okay?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Right?
Yes.
So does that make sense in the term that you always estimate your last one? We didn't know for sure what number it was, right? I guess it was a 7 or an 8. You always estimate that. Now, people was like, well, what's the big deal, Mr. Vu? Imagine if you're a tailor and you're making a nice suit. I'm just going to pick on Junior for example. 10 years from now, Junior is going to go to an event and he's going to get a custom suit made out of silk, all decked out. Imagine if the tailor, every single time he or she cut a piece of fabric, he just rounded it to the nearest whole number. If it's 25.6, he rounded it to 26. If it's 25.1, he rounded it to 25. What would happen to the left side of the suit and the right side of the suit after he put it together? The suit would be slightly crooked, right? And the silk shrink, okay? If it's washed, also that's correct. Silk shrink, you need to dry clean it. I used to work at the dry cleaner across the street when I was in high school, my junior and senior year. So you have to dry clean those. But when you just round number to a whole number, it ends up being very, very bad. Okay, so be careful. So this is 6.7 because this line right here is 6, this line is 8, and the middle line therefore has to be 7, correct? There's 5 lines between 6 and 7. That means each one of them are going up by 0.2. 6.2, 6.4, 6.6, 6.8, 7. We confirm that. So once again, each one of them is 0.2. 6.2, 6.4, 6.6, which is the red line, and 6.8, which is the blue line. So the best estimate is this is close to between 6.7 is probably the best because it's between 6 and 8. So the best answer is 6.7. Or if you're really, really good, you might say 6.65 or something like that. But that's unreasonable estimate in this case. So we see 135, and then we count 135.1, 135.2, and this is